Yo, what's up, you guys? It's your boy Jack OATz, GOAT. You either know or you don't. So, hey, thank you guys so much for, I gained, 150 subs in a day. I don't know what happened. I didn't post anything new. Whoever told you guys to come over, tell them I said thank you. I don't know how you guys found me like that, but that was cool. So, I thought I'd put out a video just for the new guys, and, this one's going to be talking about Lucifero and who I think he is and not, and blah, blah, blah. And just to preface this, I know there's a lot of new people here now, but don't take anything I say as I'm trying to tell you exactly what is happening in this story. While I feel like I have a good idea of what's going on, anything can happen in this story. Anything can happen with magic, period, right? Especially with Tabata involved. So all I'm doing is trying to piece together some pieces to this puzzle. And that's by using what we have in the series and by using what we have in the lore that Tabata is going off of. So, without further ado, let's just talk about this. So, the main takeaway I want you guys to get from this video is that and this is nothing new to people that have been on this channel for a long time, that I do not believe that what Dante has is Lucifero. And there's many reasons why, and I put them in a video not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, maybe 3, but it clearly says that Belphegor is the third triad, and then talking about a pseudo-triad as well. So go watch that if you want a better understanding. Although this video there's a lot of other details that I'm probably just not going to go over here, just for time's sake. So definitely just go watch that and to fill in those blanks. But anyway, I was looking at this panel today. I think about this panel a whole lot. This chapter in general, actually, because it told us a lot while seemingly not telling us much of anything at all. I don't know why I still have Discord popping up. I don't even check Discord. So this, I had to think okay, how do we have Dante and Morris with Lucifero's symbol? And I think the fact of the matter is that we don't. We have, when you look at Dante and Morris's symbols, those thorns going across their forehead, Morris's are they're fine. They're not thick. Let's say that. They're not thick lines, while Dante's lines are actually thicker. So I've given the reason before that when you start delving into the lore about Belphegor, it shows that Belphegor and Lucifer actually do work pretty closely together when doing their devil stuff and whatnot. So it would kind of make sense that they would have similar markings for the people that they are possessing. But to take this a step further, let's look at what's happening here with Rhya, because Lucifero says that he can take over any lowly devil or whatever, right? But what is he actually doing? I believe that, and I'm going to kind of stretch this to suit my agenda here, and I'll delve even more into it, and it might become less and less of a stretch as I start explaining. So I believe that Lucifero here is actually transferring his mana to Rhya to be able to do this, or his mana / consciousness, right? And I say transfer very specifically because we see Morris, who's transferring Lord Pachika's knowledge and probably even magic to his own self and grimoire. And this would better suit the power that is being shown right now. And I know you're probably thinking well, transfer magic, that's kind of stupid. Wait, okay, maybe you're not thinking it's stupid, because it's really not. And we've kind of seen something like this already. And this is where we start getting into the relationship between the Sephirot and the Qliphoth. Now remember, those on the Sephirot have a shadow, and the shadow is the devil that resides in pretty much the same little bubble, but they express all the negative connotations of what they stand for. So if we look at this, This is something I found online. It's really accurate, which is why I want to use it. This is not mine, but the only thing I would take away from this is being where he is in this. While it makes sense, there's going to be some stuff that I say a little later on that takes out of that spot. And the spot that he's in right now is called Dot. And to make it short, it's pretty much just the entrance and exit to the Sephirot in this case. And they act as almost a generator of power, which, like I said, it makes sense for but I don't think it's necessarily right to put him there yet. For all I know, this could be completely accurate, but I would take that out for now. Other than that, we've got everyone in the place that they should be. We have Licht at Keter as the crown, and then we have Bina, who is Rhya, and then Chokmah as Ron, and so on, all the way down to Malkut, which is Kingdom, who is Patri in the series. So, when we look at this, like I said, remember that each spot on the Sephirot has a shadow, which has a devil that rules over the negative connotations of what the Sephirot stands for. So, like, if we look at Rhya, it's understanding. And it just so has it that his shadow would be Lucifer, who is known as a liar, right? So, looking at Rya's shadow, okay, he's Bina. That is him. And then his reflection, like I said, is Lucifer. All right. So, when we see Morris transferring this magic and knowledge from Lord Pachika to himself, I feel like this is the opposite, the perverted version of Rya's magic, where we see Rhya is copy magic and he can touch anyone's grimoire and make their attributes his, and he can fight with them. While it's not full-on perfect and it might not be as strong as the original users, he is still able to do this and pull it off quite well, as we've seen in the Elfart. So take that concept and just match it to Lucifero, and Morris is essentially doing the same thing, and he can do that to whoever he wants to, and it's not even just their magic, it's their knowledge. So Lucifer is a whole different type of demon, no pun intended. And this is why I think it makes sense that Morris has Lucifer and Dante does not. Now, I've already kind of explained the Dante thing, so I don't want to rehash it, but we know Belphegor is the lying demon. He's known for lying and actually shape-shifting. And he's only able to change shape to those who don't accept true beauty, which is exactly what Dante doesn't want to recognize. He doesn't like what humans stand for. His version of beauty is definitely different than an actual version of beauty. Now, something else to bring into this, kind of a side tangent, but to keep going with this, is if we go back to this and we see Ron. Now, Ron, he had switching magic. I believe that's all it was labeled as, was switching magic. Which he can trade spaces with anything, or he can make things trade spaces. And a really unique ability to the series, actually. But then you look at his correspondent, so here we have him at Chokmah, and we look at his reflection, and it's Belial. Now, you already know that I believe Xenon's devil is Belial. And Belial is actually pretty much the gatekeeper to the Qliphoth itself. He is the pseudo triad is what they call it. While Dot, this star in the middle, is not attributed to any one of the surrounding Sephira, this Dot on the Qliphoth is attributed to Belial specifically. So while he rules over a certain section of the underworld, he actually rules over a second part of the underworld, which makes him very unique. Now, something to note about Belial is that the Gagael, the class of devils that live within this Qliphoth, are known for obstructing any creative force and redirecting it. And this is exactly what Xenon's devil's magic is redirecting things. We see Xenon using his spatial magic and I mean, you can use spatial magic in a lot of different ways, but when you look at the shadow, or rather the light shadow of Belial, it ends up being Ron at Chokmah, who is not necessarily labeled as a spatial mage, but when you are affecting where things are, in reality, you are affecting the space itself. So I believe that this is what we're seeing here, is that Belial is the reflection of Ron in this series, and Rhya is the reflection of Lucifer in this series. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking, because I thought the same thing too, was, well, there's no way that, Lucifer and Rhya are about to go toe-to-toe, because clearly Lucifer is stronger, and they pretty much paint Lucifer as, like, world-ending. Not even just country level. He's just world-ending. So, this is the thing that Tabata has painted so far. The apostles here, these are not your gods, all right? These are not gods. These are apostles. And when you think of the word apostles, you have to remember that apostles mean that you are serving a person or being, okay? So these guys are only serving a being or beings. These are not your angels. So while they might not match up power-wise, as far as, like, actual power, like if they were to punch one another, they're not going to be as strong as the devil, of course. At least I don't believe so. But it makes sense because they are not the actual gods. If anything, they would just be considered maybe angels, and that's kind of stretching some terminology, but we can use it. But this is going to happen all over the tree, and the only place where it wouldn't happen is Malkuth, and it's very weird, and I've been trying to grasp this for a while. While Keter is the strongest on the Sephirot, the point of Malkuth is to catch all of the life force, and in this case magic, and everything that the other Sephirots stand for into one space, and that's why they call it kingdom. This is where everything comes together in a perfect form. So while it's at the bottom, it would be one of the stronger beings on the Sephirot, which we do see Patri is. He seamlessly took over Lick's spot, and no one batted an eye. And we have to assume the same on the other side. Now, I want you guys to look at this because I know you see the name Nama above Lilith, and the thing is, Lilith resides over both the first two clips in the Qliphoth, so it's kind of interchangeable, but they do have Lilith and Nama in both of those clips. That's just a side note, but it would be the same for Lilith. She would just be embodying every negative aspect that all of the other clips are passing down towards the roots or the base of their tree. So this would also kind of give those guys that were like, well, Lilith should be the strongest one because she's the mother of all demons, a little more stake in the series, because while Lilith, we now find out, is not like the be-all, end-all devil, she doesn't have to be any weaker than any of the devils on this tree, for the sole fact that all their power is pretty much going towards her. So Lilith can still be extremely important, but we do have to see more of what's going to happen with her. But that's just kind of something I wanted to bring up because I thought it was kind of important. Yeah, that's from another thing. But yeah, I think I'm kind of sold on my own fact that Morris has Lucifero, and Dante has Belphegor, and Xenon has Belial. Now it's just a question of Magicula, and you guys would totally cancel me if you knew that I felt that Magicula would be the being that ends up coming around when Nama and Lilith fuse, but thankfully you guys don't know that about me. So, but yeah, it's also just really weird how like Lucifero in quotes didn't know who Asa's devil was. Now, granted, hadn't seen Liebe in a long time, and also Liebe did not have anti-magic at the time. But I mean, if this is your power, and he does explicitly say like I can just hop into any devil wherever, he could have done that to Liebe. And he didn't. And he didn't have to search for him. He knew exactly where he was. Just a matter of channeling. And he didn't. Instead, Belphegor told Dante, I have no idea who this is, but with the paltry magic, like, with paltry stopgap magic, like anti-magic, he's got to be a low level. It clearly just shows he didn't know what he was talking about. Which is not something that you would forget. Like, you took over this thing's body, okay? And got yeeted by his mother and killed his mother. You're not going to forget that the only devil to escape Qliphoth without a contract. You're just not going to forget it. Like, I hope you guys understand like how little sense that makes. You're not going to forget that. Imagine being in jail for the rest of your life, and you live for like, let's say you live for 75,000 years. You're only on like year 2,000. You're going to be looking for a way to escape if you haven't already been. And then you got a ticket out, and then this girl totally ruins your shot at that? Yeah. You're not going to forget who that is. And the fact that even Belphegor, I'm going to say Belphegor because you guys, of course, cannot see me put Lucifer in quotations. But even Belphegor even goes as far to say that the only devil that should be topside is Zagrid. So he knows that there are probably devils that are topside, but the only one who actually escaped was Zagrid. It means he doesn't know about Liebe at all. So this is just where my head is, and I hope I'm right, because man, like I said in a few videos ago, this would make for a much, much cooler story than like, okay, we found out who Lucifero is, we're going to go get him, and then, you know, we're going to avenge both of our moms. Like, okay, I get it's going to happen at some point, but imagine that they go and fight Dante and Belphegor, and it's a hard fight because Belphegor is not an easy fight to have. Gravity magic is insane. So imagine they go through all that, they finally get him, and realize that's not even the biggest threat, and Lucifero has yet to get out, and he's even worse. Like, imagine that. They think they got it, but then they didn't. And the real villain is standing in front of them, who is Morris, with Lucifero. And then, at some point, hopefully not, but hopefully, because I want to see some stuff go down, Lucifero comes out on the last day with the Thaumael and Belial. Think about that. Think about how crazy that story would be. This would put Black Clover at such a high place. But I mean, I'm sure Tabata, even if it doesn't go that way, he's got some like cool stuff planned. He has not been missing lately. But yeah, was there something I was going to add? I feel like there was, and I completely forgot. Oh, okay. So in this situation here, in this picture, right before Lucida grabs him, he goes like, he does admit that he's nearly powerless the way he is there. And the thing is that I feel like if he had gravity magic, he just would have used it then. And it's not to say like, you know, he's probably is restricted, but not restricted enough to not kill someone. He totally transferred some of his mana. And I say mana because when Lucida grabs him by his stupid big devil face, he says outright that she's absorbing his mana. So that means he can do something, but he's probably wanting to conserve that mana to walk around in Liebe's body to find a better vessel. So that's my whole spiel. That's my whole spiel. Whether you agree with it or not, you can put in the comment section below or find me on Twitter. And I will see you guys when I see you guys. The spoilers will probably drop tonight, and I might have something to say, depending on where Tabata takes us. I'm kind of hoping he goes back to Lilith and Nama, or brings us to Noelle and the Ultimate Magic team. It'd be nice to see what they're doing and kind of give us a break on the hype a little bit, just so we can absorb what's going on. But yeah, that's me. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section below, whether you agree or disagree. Find me on Twitter or don't. Doesn't matter. Do what makes you happy. But this has been Jacko's the GOAT. Thank you guys for tuning in. You either know or you don't.